All right. So this is, I've just blown up the value stream map, and you would see that just observe the center one first, process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4. And in between the process, there is some quantity of inventory, and each process has got a cycle time, changeover time, runtime, waste, and some information inside the box. This is called process information. And for each of these processes, there is some information given by MRP, Material Requirement Planning, which is generally the job of production control person, planning and production control. They give production schedules, and the customer gives forecast and orders, and the production control gives forecast and orders to the supplier, and the suppliers transfer this through the trucks, and then after it is made, it is delivered to the customer in some way. So this is how a current state map is set. But how do I go through it step by step? What is the starting point? And that is where we are going to talk about 6 or 7 steps, which we'll go through step by step. Actually, the 6 steps, and I put step 2 as 2A and 2B. So the first one is you have to identify the high-level value stream. Whether you're going to map for chapati making process or dosa making process. Under dosa making process, you can have family of dosas. You can have set dosa, you can have onion dosa, you can have cheese dosa, you can have uttapams, you can have any type of dosas. Under chapatis, you can have parathas, you can have fulkas, you can have this, you can have that. But which is that family of product that you're going to take? That is what is called as value stream. The set of products that goes through similar processes. Once you take up that, you identify for that family, in our case dosa, for that family, what is the customer demand? How frequently does he order? What is the minimum order quantity? And all those customer details must be, you should have those customer details. Only then you can calculate customer demand and takt time out of that. This customer demand is required for calculating the takt time. It is easier said than done. Murli, how do I calculate? Dosa is simple. Who said dosa is simple? How do you know what dosa they will order? Can anybody guess, if you have a dosa shop, what dosa they will order? Can anybody guess? Okay. Okay, so there are challenges in terms of predicting the customer. The whole data analytics of customer forecasting is a big subject. I'm currently learning just, as a friendly exchange of things. I want to share with you that I'm currently learning data analytics through this software called Orange, which comes onto the platform of Anaconda. Okay. The reason that I'm learning that is I find that I'm actually certified Minitab expert, but I find this Orange, which is from Anaconda. First of all of you can make a note of it, Orange from Anaconda, okay? Those of you who are wanting to learn Minitab is a paid version, and Orange from Anaconda is a free version. It's an open source software, point number 1. Point number 2, is it okay to have this discussion just 2 minutes so that you get some extra information, okay? Point number 2 is, when we do a sort of data analysis on Minitab, okay, I'm just saying, I'll just repeat what I said. The reason that I started this conversation is I started about the customer forecast here, and that's why I got reminded of this, what I'm doing. The forecasting is the most challenging thing, And in order to calculate the takt time, okay, I'll type the name. In order to calculate the takt time, you need to identify the customer demand. And the customer demand is very, very difficult to predict. Okay, or even extrapolate, okay, because there can be seasonal demands, there can be surgical demands, there are various patterns in forecasting. And unless you calculate this customer demand, your takt time derivation might become very subjective, unless it is a very, very, organic, very uniform order. So Minitab is a sort of statistical software which I normally was using for forecasting, and also statistical process control, quality control, all that. And it's a paid software. Now I'm using Learning, okay, Orange from Anaconda. And Anaconda is open source software. Orange is open source software where it is free. So I was just saying that the advantage of Orange that I see is two things. One is it's an open source and we constantly upgrade it, and it's an affordable version for everyone to start with. And once you make the model, you can repeat the model. Whereas in Minitab, you need to do the same set of sequence of operations again. You'll have to go copy, paste the data, import the Excel file. I'll tell you, import the Excel file, then click a few buttons, like an Excel sheet, right? Excel sheet, when you have to do a graph, okay, simple bar graph, every time you type, after you enter the data, you'll have to click and then put the graph, right? But then in Minitab also, you need to follow a sequence of steps to do the forecasting analysis. Whereas in Orange, once you develop that relationship, you just have to import the Excel file. It will automatically go through that pattern of analysis and finally give the output. We will discuss maybe one-to-one or in a separate session. I'm sorry about this digression. I thought it might be useful for some of the people. Okay, so having come to this, you should know the customer requirement. The third is each of the process steps. And process steps are very simple. If you call about factory environment, it's very easy. Dosa, it is very easy. For example, first process is, soaking the rice and dal. Second is grinding and fermenting, and then putting it on the tawa and making dosa and things like that. Okay, so that is process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4. If you see recruitment, for example, the first process is identification of the need of people. Okay, the second is, getting the resumes is the second process. The third thing is, filtering of the resumes. The fourth one might be interviewing people or doing the first round of filtering or second round, whatever that you have. Then the next process might be examination or a quiz, and so on and so forth, unless you give the offer letter and then join. So these are the process steps. Let us take the case of NGOs, for example. Suppose if you're distributing food, okay, first qualifying people is the first process. Make sure you check whether the raw materials are available or whatever that you need to supply to them is ready. And then the logistics is a process. And then they consuming it or reaching it or getting a feedback or whatever are the processes. And each of these processes has got unique, process matrices. So don't think it is only for the manufacturer. In manufacturing, the value stream mapping, see, for those who are amateurs on VSM, they will follow the same type of diagram. But I have done over 26 manufacturing value streams and probably 14 non-manufacturing transactional type of value streams. Okay, so totally around maybe I think 40 to 50 value streams, and it need not be in the same. That's why I said, how visually can you represent so that it is, you can identify the improvement points easily. That is the whole point. It is not that you'll have to follow the strict way of representing visually. Okay, I hope this is clear. Please type clear in the comment. This is very, very important to understand. Don't get argues, okay, what is the inventory should be, what is the cycle time in non-value stream, non-manufacturing, what is change over time. No, Each process has got a process matrix, and that process matrix we need to put. Don't try to go into the transactional process and say, okay, where is runtime in my case? Where is changeover time in this case? Okay, we will talk about some in detail. Okay, so this is process steps and process data boxes. And then this is the data box, and this is the inventories. I'm going slow here because when I take the Acme case studies, it will be much faster. Probably I'll give it to you as a homework for you to try also. Okay. And then these are the inventory boxes, the step number 6. 1 second, sorry, I just went a little faster. 4 is the data boxes. 5th is put the inventory here. And 6th is, okay, this material flows through trucks from the supplier and through to the customer. And then the 7 is the information flow. 8 is how much is the total time. Probably you would be, for those who are seeing it for the first time, will feel it heavy. How many of you feel okay so far? Probably scale of 1 to 10, you can type how you're feeling. If you're perfectly okay, type 10. If you are too much, you feel too heavy, you can type just 1. Okay, now, after you write all this, then together as a team, we will start looking at some improvement projects. We will ask these questions: where the uptime is high, where the uptime is low, how do we increase the uptime? You might question, what is uptime? How much time the machine is running? It is up. The machine is down, it is downtime. And changeover, like for example, if you want to change over from, what do you say, which is the most difficult to change over in your kitchen? I'm just trying to relate in your kitchen. If you have to change over from one dish to another, which is from which dish to which dish you need to, do a lot of cleaning. I don't know. Okay, I'll try you some examples. Okay, so changeover is nothing but the typical example that is given is, okay, chapati to puri, is it? Not much, because you just change the tawa, that's all. Okay. Typically, you can understand this. In typical automobile industries, there is a paint booth. Suppose if you have only one paint booth, okay, if you have only one paint booth, and you want one product which is to be in red color, the red color car doors, for example, all the car doors are painted red color. Now you want from red color, you want yellow color. What do you do? That's the changeover. Okay, the changeover time. Then cycle time, and where the steps can be combined, and all those details you need to identify from the value stream map. All right, so I have sort of given all the steps in that one particular slide. And when I take an example and run through it, you will be able to easily comprehend what I said. And now this future state. You'll be wondering, Murli, what is this? So there are some new symbols that has come. Okay, so we will introduce these new symbols here. Okay, what these icons? You will see some supplier has got an icon, customer has got an icon, right? This is some sort of a ladder here, right? Some rack is kept here, right? Some triangle is kept here. Some sort of SIM card is kept here. How many of you felt it was SIM card when you first saw this, right? Okay. So these are all called Kanban card. There is a shaded thing is called production Kanban. Without shade is called as manufacturing Kanban, and supply Kanban, then batch Kanbans and things like that. All right.